Hi everyone, Chris here, back looking at another laptop. This time it's Lenovo's Yoga C930. Now this has been out for about 6 months, and Lenovo, I've been recently in touch with them, offered up this review unit here. So it's a loan unit that I have to send back to them, and I thought, yes, I want to actually look at this one because it's something that's interested me for a while, because I did have my eye personally on this particular laptop, and in the end I ended up buying a similar two-in one, which is the HP Spectra 360. Now I wanted to find out as well, not as just reviewing this, but did I make a mistake? Did I actually go for the wrong two-in-one? Now why this particular model is quite interesting is it has a soundbar here at the top that actually outputs some really good sound. In fact, better than a lot of gaming laptops that I've heard that even have subwoofers in them. This also has a little tiny silo here that you can stow away the stylus. This is really good to have on a laptop because it's something that my HP Spectra does not have, and I can end up losing it. You always got to carry it separately, keep it in a bag, and I love the fact that you can just keep it with this particular model. Now my configuration has the Core i7, the 8550U. There is a new Whiskey Lake upgrade coming, but that's only going to be around about 5 to 10% faster than this one. It also has 12 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM and a 256 gigabyte SSD. In the box you will find a Type-C charger. This one's rated to 65 watts and it will charge the laptop fully in just over 2 hours.
The overall build of this laptop is very good. I love the finish on it, the smooth surface and the materials used. Extreme high quality that they've gone with, and you'd expect that for the price of this laptop, which is retailing for around about $1,200 US. Screen flips around, as you can see. You can convert it into a tablet, but I haven't honestly been using it in the tablet mode too much, a lot like my HP Spectra. It's great to have the touch screen, but I find I use it in laptop mode more. Why? Because it is a little bit heavy using it in this tablet mode. Exactly how heavy? Well, 1.4 kilos, which is a lot heavier than its competition, the HP Spectra 360. That one you can see weighs in at 1.22 kilos. My review unit is equipped with the 1080p display. There is a 4K one as well model. Of course, that is an additional, a little bit extra, and you probably get poorer battery life with that one too. So this display, it supports 10 touch points. It is fully laminated. It's an IPS, and I measured the maximum brightness output right in the center, whites to be about 350 nits, which is okay, but ideally I would like a little bit more than that, but it's not too bad. The calibration as well you're looking at is currently uncalibrated out of the box. It's not too far off. It's only really the whites that needed to be slightly tweaked here. The sRGB comes out to be 95%, NTSC is 65%, and the Adobe RGB level there, the color space it has, is 70%. So overall, I think this is not too bad for the type of screen it is. It just would be nice, as mentioned, to be a little brighter. Looking at the internals of the laptop, you can see we've got a very large battery in this. It's 60 watt hours, and with the full HD version I have, not the 4K one, I can get up to around about 7 hours, so 6 and 7 hours of battery life. So for upgradability, we've only got two things you can change here. That is the SSD drive and then the wireless card. I don't know why you would want to change the wireless card because it's quite a fast one. It's the Intel 9260. When you take a look at the cooling, we've got two fans. But as you'll see later on as well, that it does run into some thermal throttling. Now for ports, everything is on the left-hand side. So we have a Type A USB 3.1, two Thunderbolt Type-C ports here, and they are 4-lane ones, which is good. So you could connect up an external GP if you wanted to do so. And then we've got a 3.5mm headphone jack with mic support with very good output. It's crystal clean, it's clear, there's no static, there's no interference on that. Then on the right, we simply just have a power button with a status LED within it. I like the location of it, the fact that it's separated away from the keyboard, and you can turn on the laptop without having to open up the screen if you do have it hooked up to an external monitor, for example. But what is missing is a micro SD card reader, and ideally, I would also like to have another full-size USB port on this side. Now the keyboard is very good. I don't really have any complaints about it. We have two-stage backlight. The travel is relatively short. It's about 1.4mm. The palm rest is very solid. The touchpad works well. It's accurate. It has a smooth glass finish to it. And then we have our Fingerprint Reader. So this is the only Windows Hello login you have. You don't have Windows Hello Face unlocking with this particular laptop, which is a shame. The Fingerprint Reader does work all the time. So as soon as you touch it, it's only about a second or so to log you in. And there is very little keyboard flex. In fact, almost nothing there. It's rock solid. So overall, a good typing experience, good touchpad here on the C930. I really like what Lenovo has done with the stylus. So it's located within the laptop itself. There's a spring in there, and all you need to do is simply just press in, and that spring will then release it. And here is our stylus. So it has two connectors right here, two buttons. The tip on the end is rubber, and it is a Wacom stylus that supports 4096 pressure levels. Now the stylus with the rubber tip does have good pressure sensitivity, I've found, and also it does have a hover function to it. You can write notes, you can do sketches and things with it. It does have a little bit of lag, and sometimes I do accidentally press the buttons on there, for example to erase something when I'm typing notes at the same time. Overall the experience is good, it's just not the best out there. So for the webcam it is 720p. The quality I find to be a little disappointing. I'll give you a sample of it. But unlike my HP Spectra, this does have a privacy shutter over the front of it, as you can see.
So this is the kind of quality you can expect from the webcam. I mean, the quality is okay. I've certainly seen worse, and I've definitely seen a lot better. I just feel for the price of this laptop that they should have gone with a full HD webcam. The audio right now you can hear that's also been recorded internally on the laptop, which does sound good.
Now I wanted to touch on the performance here, not just with benchmarks, but to tell you that it does run very quick. It feels very snappy. And when it is under load, I'll get onto that in just a second, that we do lose a little bit of performance because of the thermals. They have to tone down the power limits. But here is Geekbench 4, and you can see very good score here. So the CPU is the i7. It is the 8550U. Maximum turbo is 4 GHz. It has 4 cores, 8 threads, and my configuration is paired up with 12 GB of DDR4 RAM with 250 GB of storage. Now those storage speeds, you can see right here, they are not the fastest. The Hynix drive it has on here is not as fast as, say, the Samsung PM, the 981, which can get writes then of maybe around 2000. So we are losing a little bit of speed here, but overall it is a very quick SSD. Nevertheless, it's still fast right there. The pass mark score here comes out to be 3,407 for those interested. This is not a bad score for the configuration of it. And here is our PC Mark 10 score, nearing up towards the 4,000 point there. So for wireless, no issues here. We have a combined wireless AC, which is the Intel 9260 with Bluetooth 5, and we get very decent speeds out of it. I've had no issues with the range, no drop connections, so connectivity with the machine is very good there. Now what truly impresses me is the sound output from the 4 speakers it has on this particular laptop here. So as you saw from the internals, we've got what looks like 2 downwards internal firing speakers that act more for, I think, mids and subs. It definitely seems that way when you listen to it. And then the top we have the soundbar. Truly amazing sound out of this. It's Dolby Atmos supported as well, so that's just basically like an equalizer. I have it set to the dynamic mode, but the speakers on this, to put it this way, it's just going to blow everything else out of the water, and even some gaming laptops that have subs with them as well. So here's a sample of it.
Get down.
Now one area that is a weakness of all of these laptops that are the 2-in-1s, the thin, the lighter laptops, is the thermals. So as you can see here, we're seeing a bit of red. This is HW info, so I've been monitoring thermals closely as I do with all of my laptop reviews. I feel this is an area that a lot of reviewers completely just overlook. So you can see it's hit 97 degrees and 95 degrees were my maximum temperatures, and this did trigger, of course, some thermal throttling. So what this means is it's lowering down the clocks, it's lowering down the performance, and in effect, we are losing a little bit of performance here. But note the average temperatures. I've been running now HW Info for 62 hours, pretty much since the second or so day that I got this. I've just left it running, and overall, those thermals, when you look at the averages, are good. But you can see at the moment, I'm hitting about 90 degrees. That's because I'm just running a bit of a stress test in the background here. And I did do some video encoding, so 4K video encoding. I wanted just to show you, to bring this up here, this is a screenshot of XTU, and you can see that yes, it runs into right here, power limit throttling. Now this is normal, and our maximum cores it does throttle down the power limit a little bit to just maintain it and to stop it from getting too hot. But the temperatures will then, you can see, sit between somewhere about 82 degrees up to around about 87, 88, 90, and it will just sit there and hover there the whole time. And you're getting around 3.1 gigahertz there on the speed, which is not too bad, but we are losing a little bit of performance here because of those thermals. So you can see we're hovering about 90 degrees, the fans are at 100%. I'll just give you a sample now what kind of fan noise to expect. So the fan noise will reach about 41 decibels. That's actually not too bad. It's not the loudest that I have definitely heard. Now temperatures just above the keyboard here will hover around 36, 37 degrees. The palm rest remains cool, around 27 you can see. The touchpad as well is cool. And palm rest just on the other side too, 25 degrees. And the keyboard temperatures around about 30. So it's not uncomfortable to use. It's only just the underside. If you happen to be using it on your lap, then it will get a little uncomfortable because there it can reach around 42 degrees. Now for a quick 4K encode test here. This is something that I would do with a laptop like this. So using Adobe Premiere Pro 2019, the latest version, I've set it to hardware encoding, and this is the 4K preset. Let's see how long it takes to encode 1 minute of footage. Alright, so it's just about to finish up. It's going to take just over a minute, which is really quick. This is a good time. Okay, I will hit the pause here as soon as the bar disappears, the 100%. Alright, so about 1 minute and 14 seconds to encode with the YouTube 4K preset, 1 minute of footage. This is a really good time, so very quick there. And yes, if you are in between board meetings, for example, you could play a couple of rounds of Counter-Strike, as you can see here on the side. You get a frame rate anywhere from about 35 frames per second up to 60. This is 1080p on the lowest settings, so I mean it's not ideal, but it is still at least playable.
So I'm just going to do a quick recap here, but why I have my HP Spectra 360 with me is because I'm a 2-in-1 user. I happen to like this form factor of laptops because you convert them into tablets, and I like touch screens as well on laptops. Once you start using it, you can't really go back, I find. So why I wanted to compare that is I think a lot of people will probably be in the market looking at these similar machines. That is why, and because I'm a user of it as well too. So build quality is superior on the C930 here, as well as the speakers. Just amazing speakers. I mean, the speakers are pretty good on this one, but just even better on this. A lot of people I've had in here and I said, hey, listen to the speakers on this laptop, and they were like, wow, and that is actually really good for such a thin laptop. So the screen, mine is the 1080p version, so it gets better battery life. It's getting around about 6 to 7 hours of web use, general kind of use, which is good because this is only getting 4 to 5 with the 4K screen. Now I believe with the 4K screen in this, you're probably looking about that as well. You're probably about 4 to 5 hours sort of tops that you're going to get out of this particular machine. Now the webcam is not 1080p. It doesn't support Windows Hello, a little bit disappointing there. There is no micro SD card reader on this either, and I really wish it had another Type A USB port on this side where the Stylus is. Now they've made that compromise. They thought, okay, instead of another USB port, let's put our Stylus in here. And I really love the fact that I can stow the Stylus away in the laptop, which is really good. Now the Stylus performance does at times, I've noticed, if you use something like Photoshop too, I can sometimes see a little bit of lag there, but it's only about a millisecond really, but it just doesn't seem quite as quick as I would really like it to be. Overall performance of this machine is very quick and snappy. It feels a lot faster thanks to the Core i7 with the higher turbo than my HP Spectra here as expected, and to the accuracy of the screen is all good. Really, it's just the thermals for me that if you're going to be doing demanding work, I think you're probably better off getting yourself a laptop that has better cooling, slightly thicker, and something maybe like a 15.6-inch one, which is going to have a lot more cooling. Because here, it's always a compromise between power limits, thermals, and keeping the laptops thin. And the same kind of problem I have with my HP Spectra is you're going to hear that fan on AC most of the time. So that's the real con of there. And even this late now, after 6 months of this particular laptop being out, I think it's a fantastic laptop. And I can see that at the time, maybe I should have got this model over this particular one right here. Thank you so much for watching this review. Now I will have one more lone unit that I'm going to be reviewing from Lenovo, and that is their Legion Y740. It's a gaming laptop, so I hope to see you back for that particular review. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.